animals, I thought I would take a moment to talk you through the Tarmac Tank that is in Pom Pom issue 25. So that's the summer 2018 issue. It's my design, and I thought I would take a moment to specifically talk you through the striped I-cord edging that's on it. But before I do that, I thought I'd whiz through the construction of the tank. So this one's unblocked. It is knitted from the top down, so from the shoulders. I started at, so you've got a right shoulder and a left shoulder, so that's going to come on here. I went down, so you knit flat down to here, and then you start increasing on to grow on this side here, and repeat the same for the other side, increasing on the other side. So you've got like this little strip with increases on both sides, and then you join up to work in one piece. And the point at which you start join together to work both sides in one piece, you introduce these eyelets, and the eyelets run straight, so in a straight line all the way down the front and the back. So there's the same, they're mirrored on front and back, and the back is just knitted straight from, so in one piece, straight from the shoulders down to that same moment where you add the eyelets, and the front and the back are done separately until a ways down. But let me keep going with the front. So when you come, you've joined the straps, and then you introduce these eyelets, and the eyelets, I made a little set of hangers that I hung on, little tags, always the cutest thing, but I made little tags, and they say, I've got one that says increase before marker and then increase after marker. So because when you're making, you make the eyelet and you make sure you make it before or after, and that way this line runs straight, and all of the additional, all the extra stitches that you're adding get added onto this side or that side. So then you knit this bit, so both straps, this bit gets knitted down to here, and that increasing is what adds like the underarm space. So you're coming out here, and that is the underarm to here, and then you add a few, so then you've added those and done the same, so mirroring those increases on the back as well to here. And that's when you join the whole lot, so the front and the back get joined in the round, and then the whole body gets knitted downwards in the round. And as you join together, you add an extra, you add a section here under, that forms under each arm, and then that's worked in the round for the rest of the body, and you keep doing the eyelets. So at that point you're doing 4 in the round, so there's the 2 on the front and the 2 on the back there, and those eyelets mean that it's sort of, I mean, it's not a triangle shape, but you can see that this bottom, that's the bottom, is a lot wider than here, and obviously a lot wider than the bit that's going to fit here when you have it on. So those bits, the I-cord, so then you knit straight, and this is really gently striped. It's knitted in Yoth, Yarn on the House, their best friend yarn, which is a mix of 75% cotton and 25% wool. So it's a good summer yarn. This version, the one in Pom Pom, is knitted in these 2 colours, and then with a kind of a turquoisey, a pale blue and a pale orange as the striped I-cord edging around the neck and the armholes. But I knitted this one in these two colours, and they're pretty close together, so the stripes are really subtle on here, but you could, and I think one by one, so you do one row of one colour, one row of another, or one round, depending on whether you're in the flat bit or the round bit. And I think one by one, obviously if you have bigger contrast, you'll see those stripes more clearly, but I always think of like one by one makes much more of a sort of a shimmery stripe. It's not a hard line stripe. It's so thinking about that shimmer and it being a summer garment, that's where Tarmac came in, because when Tarmac gets really hot in the summer, you kind of get that shimmery haze that goes on top. So that was where its name came from. But yeah, so it's knitted in those subtle stripes, and then these less subtle stripes in the I-cord edging at the bottom there. So knitted all the way down. For each stitch that you're casting off at the bottom, it's aside from the striping, it's a standard I-cord. It's a standard I-cord cast off. Cast off, bind off, exactly the same thing. I just happened to grow up in the UK, where at secondary school, you know, bind off abbreviates to BO, and at secondary school anything to do with BO, having BO was not a great thing, so I've kind of, for that reason, I prefer to stick with cast on and off rather than bind off, because that abbreviates to BO. Cast on, cast off, obviously both are CO, so it's not easy to abbreviate cast on and cast off. But at least the body odor reference gets left out. So when you cast off, so you've got all the stitches along your longest, the bottom edge of the garment, and then you work the I-cord cast off. So in a sense, these stitches go this way, and the I-cord stitches that you're casting off go that way, and that helps the bottom have a little bit, it's not like it stands out as if it was sort of hooped like a crinoline, you know, the old Victorian and when, yeah, corsetry stuff, and they would put hoops in the bottom to help the dress stick out. It's not like that, but certainly, because if you think about it, usually the ratio, if you were going to pick up along the edge of a cardigan, you would be picking up 2 stitches in every 3 rows, but this one, you're getting a stitch. So if these are the rows, because they're going that way, you've got a stitch, or whichever way you want to look at it, you've got a stitch for every row, or the other way around, a row for every stitch. So that helps the bottom keep its like slightly wider shape, and obviously an I-cord cast off has a little bit of bulk too, so that helps that fall shape. It also helps the roll, so because it's knitted in stocking stitch, stocking stitch has a natural roll, so it will roll to the right side, so then the little purl side will pop up. It's still happening a little bit here, as I was saying, it's unblocked, so you can still see that roll happening a little bit here, and I'm hoping that once it's blocked, that will just fall out. I'm also thinking that because cotton has a sort of more drape, less stretch than wool, that will also help that little inclination to roll, but the idea is that the weight and the way that the I-cord cast off is formed is that also helps stop the roll at the bottom of knitting. So yep, no roll. It's also just a nice way to finish it off, and you've got the stripes going this way and then the stripes going this way, so that way and that way. I love stripes. the whole issue actually in Pom Pom issue 25 is all about stripes, so it's like, okay, I really need to have a pattern in that because stripes are really close to my heart, and trying to get them to go different ways as well is something that I'm interested in. So I like that this one had the stripes going that way and then the stripes going that way, and in a sense, you know, they also like fan out this way too, under the arms and around the neckline. So different ways of stripes, and that is the I-cord, and you can see I've picked up, so this one, the bottom edge you knit on, so you finish knitting in your two colours, you break those off, and then all the live stitches you are doing the I-cord to cast off. These ones, so you can see I've got the neckline here, and then I've also done the stripe there. This one I don't yet have it on, so you can, so these are, there are no live stitches to work from on the neckline or the armhole. So for those you actually have to, what I did it by picking up and knitting. Picking up and knitting, and then you've got the I-cord cast off is into the first, so you pick up and knit, and then you do the I-cord cast off in the striped colours. So that's where that comes in. You can also, if you see here, one of the things is when you have raw edges like that, it maintains a lot of this, like the total stretch of the knit, and I like the idea that this gives it, this I-cord bind off gives it some stability, so it gives it some more structure. So if you look at this, so there's the neckline, if you look at this underarm and this one, they're in quite different spots. So once it has the I-cord cast off, so the edging on there, it's anchored the shape of the armhole to a set size, and it doesn't stretch that much anymore. I-cord cast off does have, you know, it does have some stretch. It's not totally not stretchy, but it is a lot, you know, it's not doing that anymore. So this one has a bit of stretch so that it's comfortable to wear, but it's not like it's got less stretch than that, and it will stop that being, you know, like face size. There's this size, or then there's this size, and that, you know, obviously around here it's nice, it's a little summer vest, so you will see, if you're wearing a bra, you'll see some of that, but you'll see a whole lot less than if it's this view in here. So that is to anchor it in, and I think at this stage it's probably, having talked that through, it will be beneficial if I now switch to doing showing you what I'm doing closer up. So I'll switch to I'll set it up for a hand close up instead. But yeah, so this is the whole top. I'm going to be working on finishing off the left armhole so that I can block it and wear it, which I am looking forward to because it is very sunny in London right now. Here we go. Yeah, so there's the straight line going down, and you can see that this is the section that gets bigger. So just to remind, if you're making it, the fronts go down straight and the increases happen to either side, so it's in this bit that it's getting larger there. But yes, I am going to talk you through the armhole, doing a striped I-cord cast off on the left armhole of the Tarmac Tank. Right, let's do this.